So in order to foster a culture in which those with alternative political views could feel safe sharing their opinions, Google fired James Damore for the crime of sharing his alternative political opinions. At no point did Google rebut any of the points Damore made. The fact he made them was enough. Raising questions was his crime. Now, why does any of this matter? Well, it matters because Google is the most powerful company in the history of the world. It's the portal through which the bulk of our information flows. That means that if Google isn't on the level, neither is our understanding of the world. To an unprecedented extent, Google controls reality. Now, Google has already shown a disturbing willingness to distort reality for ideological ends. Until they were sued for it in 2008, Google refused to allow anti-abortion advertisements on its platforms, even though they freely allowed pro-abortion ones. On the flip side, Google often blacklists certain sites from hosting ads, which denies them revenue. Recently, Google-owned YouTube has introduced procedures to cut off revenue to, quote, offensive content. What's offensive? Who decides? Well, it's an opaque process controlled by employees of the company, and the last 2 weeks have shown us conclusively what those employees are like. No surprise, then, that the offensive label is routinely being applied to right-of-center content creators they don't like. Google has also appointed itself the online sheriff of fake news, changing its search algorithms so that what it calls misleading or offensive news doesn't even show up in searches. You will never know it existed. It's now obvious Google cannot be trusted to do any of this. Why should a company that shuts down free speech for political reasons have the power to dictate what the world knows and thinks? Well, of course, it shouldn't have that power. Google's longtime motto was "Don't be evil." Today it uses "Do the right thing." We should have seen this coming. Those are supervillain slogans if there was ever such a thing. None of this can continue. In Europe, Google has already been hit with a nearly $3 billion fine for violating antitrust law. Congress here and the Trump administration should go further than that. Since it has the power to censor the internet, Google should be regulated like the public utility it is to make sure it doesn't further distort the free flow of information to the rest of us. That needs to happen immediately. Too bad it's come to this. A lot of us trusted Google not to be evil. Silly us.